Hello, everyone. Welcome to our discussion now on chapter 10, which is the last chapter in this subject. You know that we're going to tackle here the different issues as well as topics now in the modern era. So, the current issues and topics in nutrition. So, we can say that these topics are also the topics that are well known, no, to many people nowadays, and also these topics are a bit controversial. I hope I will be able to give at least some kind of enlightenment, no, especially in those delicate areas, no. Okay, like ketogenic, IF. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so let's start with phytochemicals, but I guess na kung ano na ako ni siya, na-discuss na ako ni siya sa chapter 8, no? You know that phytochemicals are compounds that are derived from plants. It's only the plants that are able to synthesize this group of biochemicals. Phyto means plants, okay? And yeah, most of these chemicals are not essential to humans. Okay, they are considered non-nutrients, although they are considered as bioactive because bioactive means they have like some effects when consumed, and they are good. They are beneficial. Okay, although we do not require them, we can actually live without them, but if we include them in our diet, then our health may become better, and those compounds can help us attain like good health outcomes, good clinical outcomes. So they provide some benefits to the human body. They may prevent cancers and cardiovascular diseases. Okay, mao gyud ni ang ilahang main actually nga kuan, no, nga gamit. Okay, most of the phytochemicals also act as antioxidants. They are not just antioxidants, but they are very potent antioxidants. So they are actually very helpful, no, uh, in actually fighting off free radicals in our body. And I have already told you that these free radicals, no, are actually the major like etiologic factors in many diseases. So the diseases of the modern era are usually the result of high oxidative stress. So in order to to lessen that, we have to introduce a lot of these antioxidants. Okay, and one of the major routes to do that is to incorporate a lot of antioxidants into our diet. Okay, so phytochemicals according to color group and plant sources. So you can just easily like memorize this, or get familiar, with these groups, and what color do they represent, or what color do they impart in our fruits and vegetables. So say for example, the color red is actually attributed by lycopene. I have already told you about this one, di ba? um and of course kaning mga red colored fruits and vegetables, taas sila ani nga phytochemicals. Okay. We also have green. Aside from chlorophyll, these phytochemicals also like contribute to the green color. We have glucosinolates, isothiocyanates, which are found in your cruciferous vegetables. So kani mga cruciferous vegetable, okay. Green or yellow, that's lutein, zeaxanthin. Okay. I have discussed this already no last time as under supputative essential nutrients. We have orange, okay, vitamin C, flavonoids, red, purple, and white or allyl sulfides. So, only ang ilahang representative fruits and vegetables. Okay, so this shows a picture, no, of um, uh, vegetables that vary, no, in color. Okay, so each of these colors that I know represents a particular phytochemical. Okay, so yeah, antioxidants. Uh, Free radicals are very active chemicals that damage the cells. Okay, in the cells, free radicals oxidize molecules. That new oxidized molecules will in turn oxidize others, essentially turning all the nearby molecules into oxidized chemicals or free radicals. So then there will come a time that the whole cell will be destroyed and the process will go on to the nearby cells unless there are antioxidants that would stop them and render them harmless. Okay, so that's actually the job of antioxidants, okay, to render these oxidizing molecules, these pro-oxidants, these free radicals, harmless. Okay, so in order to stop the chain reaction, antioxidants are needed. So as what I've said, no, free radicals damage our cells, and this is actually one of the main reasons, no, why diseases like cancer, especially cancer, diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular diseases, nganong ga-exist na sila because of high oxidative stress caused by free radicals. Okay? So that's why we need antioxidants to stop those. Okay? We have these nutrients that are really essential, and then their function is to act as antioxidant. We have vitamins A, C, and E, selenium, zinc, manganese, copper, and sulfur. Selenium being the main antioxidant mineral, vitamin C being the main water soluble antioxidant, and vitamin E being the main fat soluble antioxidant. We also have, of course, katong mga putative essential nutrients, no, that act as antioxidant. We have lycopene, lutein and zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, okay, ergothioneine, so kato sila. We also have nanonutrient antioxidants, so many phytochemicals like lignans, indoles, polyphenols, and kaning glutathione and coenzyme Q, which is, um, is semi-essential nutrient. Okay. Green tea extracts, katong catechins, na explain na sad na ako in chapter 8, no? Aside from being antioxidant, they also help one lose weight. Okay, that's why they are needed in uh, weight maintenance. Okay, we also have these super fruits. Okay, uh, they are called as such because they are very high in these antioxidants. Okay, we also have other phytochemicals like phytosterols, which inhibit the absorption of cholesterol, thereby lowering the blood cholesterol levels. And this is very important in the management of hypercholesterolemia. We also have phytoestrogens. These are the estrogen equivalent of plants. They will protect against cancer, bone loss, and cardiovascular diseases. And we also have lignans, which are found in cereals and grains, and vegetables like broccoli, which also act as powerful antioxidants. Okay, so those are phytochemicals. Okay? Pero may manggod nato na madunggan, no? But now you know what are those phytochemicals. So next are functional foods. So what are these functional foods? They are also known as medical foods, nutraceuticals, and designer foods. So they are actually defined as any substance that may be considered a food or part of a food, okay, which provides medical or health benefits beyond the traditional nutrients it contains. So examples of functional foods are foods containing probiotics and prebiotics. Okay. So probiotics again are live bacteria, usually lactobacillus and bifidobacteria that may promote the growth of good bacteria in the gut. So good bacteria may render a lot of health benefits such as strengthening of the immune system, weight regulation to name a few. So basically your functional foods are foods that have like beneficial effects in our body beyond the nutritional value that they contain. Okay, such as these foods that are rich in probiotics and or prebiotics, which when incorporated in a diet, they may confer these extra benefits. Okay, prebiotics, are non-digestible food particles, usually fiber, that encourage the growth of these probiotics, such as GOS, galacto-oligosaccharides, and FOS, fructo-oligosaccharides. Okay, so this is just an example of a functional food. We have a lot of functional foods. Other classes of functional foods are defortified foods. Okay, like for example, um, uh, mga cereals, that are fortified with iron or vitamin D. Originally, cereals do not have a lot of these nutrients, but since they are now fortified, then they have like extra benefits, attributed to the nutrients that have been added to them. Okay, we also have like uh, foods that contain katong mga dietary bioactive compounds like conjugated linoleic acids, katong mga phytochemicals, di ba? Since they have those bioactive compounds which are linked with several health outcomes, good health outcomes, then they are considered actually as functional foods because of that. Okay, so that's the recent trend nowadays. Many food innovators, food scientists, or kaning mga food technologists na to, they try to like develop functional foods. Um, they usually like fortify foods with more nutrients. They use like ingredients that are high in this particular bioactive compound to make their food product become a functional food, because since that particular food product has a lot of this bioactive compound, then in that sense, that food product can already be considered a functional food. Okay, so any food um, that has like many benefits, is considered a functional food. Okay, nutrient supplementation. So, what is actually our stand here? The official stand of no, scientists and nutritionists regarding the use of nutritional supplements, the best strategy for promoting optimal health and wellness is to choose widely from a variety of foods. Use nutritional supplements only to fill dietary gaps, but consume along with conventional and fortified foods and beverages. Nutrient supplements cannot replace a healthful diet. Okay, so that this is actually our stand now. In other words, we prioritize the use of natural food sources. We use food sources to capture nutrients, not get nutrients through tablets, through capsules. No. Okay, so we always have to prioritize a healthful diet, a diet that is composed of a wide variety of foods. So we cannot have a healthy lifestyle if we rely on nutrients that come from supplements. Okay, so kanus alang ta magamit og supplements if naay mga instances that hinder someone to have like uh, complete and balanced diet. Like, for example, if ang patient dili na makakaon, kay tungod kay na ay mga complications, or dili siya makatulon kay, di siya makakaon kaayo tungod sa surgery or cancer in that area, or na siya dysphagia, di ba? Or na ay something sa iyang gastrointestinal tract uh, that incapacitates the person not to take foods normally through the GI tract, then that's the time nga magamit na ta og nutritional supplements. And also, Nutritional supplements can be used if naanay marked deficiency ang patient. Like, for example, naana siya scurvy and medyo urgent, no? Um, nga matreat ang existing deficiency, then that's the time nga pwede na maggamit og supplements. But if healthy ka, okay, like if you're a student, like karon, dili ka mag-rely sa supplements, okay? Try to have a healthful diet through incorporating a variety of foods, not on relying on these supplements. Okay? So, mauna siya itong stand. I-prioritize yun nato ang healthful diet over these supplements. And there are a lot of risks na associated with nutrient supplementation. Like, for example, consuming nutrients above the ULs or above the upper limits of safe levels. So, nutrient supplements, man good, usually, the use of that is very prone to toxicity, which is another spectrum of malnutrition that should be prevented. Okay, because we are talking about toxicity here, it's dangerous. Okay, um, it is as dangerous as deficiency. Okay, so yeah, and sayang ra po na inyong kwarta, no, because many studies have shown nga yun ni sila benefits good, especially if walay marked deficiency ang person. Okay, so you might want to discard the use of those supplements, especially kanang vitamin C, no? You actually don't need to take vitamin C daily and kaning mga B-complex vitamins na to. Like, for example, mag-name na ko og brand. For example, Enervon. Okay? Actually, you don't need that if you are like having a healthy or balanced diet because gamay raman atong requirement for that. If you check the PDRI, then i-cross-check nimo siya sa content sa isa ka tablet sa supplement, dako ra gyud kaayo ang naa sa supplement. Okay? So, unsaon man ang kanang kuan, mga sobra na. Actually, ihi ra na. Diba? So, mura ra nimo ginaihi ang kwarta, diba? So, yeah, actually, you don't need that. Okay? Just, try to get as much foods as you can, okay, like a variety of foods, okay. So that's about nutrient supplementation. What about dietary supplements? Dietary supplements are different from nutrient supplements because kaning mga dietary supplements na tumauning extracts daw kunuhay sa particular nga plant, like for example kanang mangosteen, di ba nga i-process into capsules, into tablets, mga malunggay capsules, mga ginseng extract, okay? Actually, kana sila, um, they have like this label that states that no approved therapeutic claim. So, the meaning of that is, wa gyud ka ng evidence nga makaayo sila in makaayo sila og diseases, then maubay na ang ilahang maubay na ilang tagline sa ilahang mga marketing statements, di ba? Like, makaayo daw kuno sa cancer, makaayo sa tumor, makaayo sa hypertension, diabetes, tapos naadi ay sa ilang label na no approved therapeutic claim. So, many people manggod wala kabalo sa kanang meaning gyud sa no approved therapeutic claim. So, yeah, wala gyud na wala gyud na sila kanang basis no nga makaayo gyud sila ana nga mga diseases. So usually kanang mga kung naa manggaling gyud mga genuine nga mga statements nga naayo ilahang tambal tungod naayo ilahang sakit tungod ana nga supplement, usually it's just placebo effect, no, or it's just because they believe that this particular supplement help them recover from disease. So naamang good inana nga ginatawag nga placebo effect nga naayo ka tungod kay nituo ka nga maayo ka. So Dili na siya tungod sa gina-take nimo per se, but tungod na siya sa kanang belief nimo sa imong self na pwede ka maayo ana. So, that's actually the power of placebo kanang magunaw-na kag inana. Okay? Like for example, kanang magunaw-na ka nga hilantan ka unya gabi ida hilantan gyud ka. Oo. So, that's scientifically proven nga mahitabo na siya, nga pwede na siya mahitabo. But the mechanism is unknown yet nganong kakahitabo na no. But mao po na siya ang basis anang faithful healing. Okay? Kanang mutuo og kanang faithful healer ay kanang faith healer, di ba? Kanang mga Bisaya nga mananambal, di ba? So, actually tungod ra na sa placebo effect. So, yeah. Okay? So, our stand here as future registered nutritionist dietitian, dili gyapon ta mag-promote ani. Okay? Kay our profession is based on science, so dapat na ay evidence. But no approved therapeutic claimants, wala evidence. So, dili dapat ta mag-recommend og inani. Okay? And naay mga instances nga pwede sila maka-harm, no? Like for example, kaning Herbalife, okay? Na ay published literature about sa use sa Herbalife nga hepatotoxic siya, nga nadaot ang liver sa gagamit. Okay? Kay naay mga ingredients nga makadaot di ito sa liver or hepatotoxic. Okay? So, they may cause more harm than good, no? Okay? So, dili ta mag-recommend ani isip sa usa ka, ka dietitian, okay? We also have like this herbal, although naagyud mga herbs, no, that are proven to have like medicinal effects. Okay? So, ako na lang po siya i-tackle diri since it's closely related with this topic, no? Like, these are the herbs that are being endorsed by the DOH that have proven to have these beneficial effects. We have Acapulco, which is antifungal, Ampalaya, which is anti-diabetic, Bawang, which reduces cholesterol and blood pressure. Okay, yes, naamang good mga certain biochemicals sa bawang that can do this. Okay? Bayabas, antiseptic. That's why ginagamit ang bayabas sa kanang para to cleanse no the wound, to kill the pathogens in wounds. So that's the meaning of antiseptic. Lagundi is of course a known relief no, of coughs and asthma. Niyog-niyogan is antihelmintic, it's anti-parasitic. Sambong, which is diuretic. It can induce like urination, no, and through that mechanism pwede ma-dissolve ang mga gout, pwede ma-dissolve ang mga kidney stones. Okay, but sambong is only used, no, when paired up with high fluid intake, so that diuresis is possible. Okay, so that these stones can be dissolved and can be flushed out of the body. Okay? Chaang gubat is a known laxative. So, it's also a very good mouthwash alternative. Ulasimang bato, anti-gout and anti-arthritis. And Yerba Buena, which helps relieve body aches and pain. So, this is Acapulco, Niyogan, Chaang gubat, ulasimang bato. So, kani, I know, of course, uh, I know that you have noticed this, no? Especially kaning sa likod sa yung balay, di ba? Yeah, naa ni siya therapeutic value. Okay? So, ito yung therapeutic value, anti-gout and anti-arthritis. Okay? Also have your Yerba Buena, which, is our mint. Morning mint nato, no? Okay? So, what about organic foods? What is our stand on organic foods? Um, Organic foods are plants grown without the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. They are also like animals. They can also be derived from animals raised without giving hormones or drugs to promote rapid growth. And organic foods are also non-GMOs, so meaning wala sila derived from genetically modified organisms. Organic plants and animal products are the 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 products of these ingredients. So what is our official stand? Neutral, no? We do not encourage nor discourage the use of organic foods because when compared with other types of foods, they are no healthier. Okay, like they are not more nutritious. Okay, although in the safety concern, in some aspects pwede nato sila maingon nga more safe kay especially kaning mga plants that are harvested without the use of kaning mga fertilizers and pesticides, which can harm our health, no, if naapay mga pesticides nga nabilin diha. Okay, example kaning ethylene oxide nga kaning naa sa pansit kanto nato karon. Okay, yeah, sa diha lang nga aspect, no, they may be safer, but when we talk about the nutritional value, the same raman siya with non-organic foods. And in some cases, mas nutritious pa gani kaning mga non-organic foods nato, like kaning mga GMOs nato. Okay? Kaning mga GMOs manggod nato kay they are genetically altered, no, to contain more nutrients. Okay? Like for example, naatay mga plant oils uh, nga gi-harvest sa mga plants that were genetically modified to contain more fatty acids like more DHA and EPA, which are not found in natural foods. So, in that sense, we can say that GMOs are more nutritious. Okay? So, yeah, it doesn't mean that they are organic, they are healthier. Okay? So, you have to know that because kaning mga manufacturers manggod nato, they abuse, no, the word organic. Okay, they use organic to equate their foods, no, with being healthy, when in fact dili tinuod. Okay, so do not confuse organic with healthy. Okay, ana siya. So wala pud ko gaingon nga kanang dili mo magkaon og organic, di ba? So it's just neutral, like it's just that dili lang nato siya murag kuan, no, murag gamiton nga criterion para ingon lugar tang ay dapat organic ra kung kaunon, because they are not, they do not contain more nutrients than conventional foods or than other foods. Okay, so gitawag lang sila nga organic tungod kay wa sila gamitan og fertilizers, pesticides, or walay mga hormones na gigamit, especially kaning mga chicken, organic eggs. Pasabot ana is gi-raise sila sa chicken nga wala gitagaan og antibiotics, okay, or any hormones. Although sa kana na sad nga area, um pwede pud ta ma-expose, no, sa antibiotics, especially sa mga chicken that is not organic, no, and that might harm us. But many studies have also shown nga kaning mga antibiotics nga naa sa chicken meat is dili ra daw kaayo maka-harm sa atoa, except kaning liver, no, liver sa chicken, kay diya man gud usually gyud mo i-metabolize ang drugs sa pilang antibiotics. So if you eat like liver harvested from chickens raised with antibiotics, then that's the time that it might harm you. Okay? So kana siya. And kaning hormone sa chicken, di ba? Dili po na siya tinuod, no, nga kanang estrogen. Although ginagamit yun ng estrogen para mudako kayo ang chicken, para mas maunod siya, para mas dali siya mo mature and mas dali siya i-slaughter. Okay, tinuod na siya. Pero kaning mga hormones nga naa sa chicken lugar dili naman na wala naman na siya effect sa ato kung kaunon nato. Okay? So that's according to studies. Okay? So maulagi ng ingon nila nga makabayot daw kuno ang chicken tungod aning mga hormones. So di na siya tinuod. Okay? Kung inana manggaling then tanan na lang siguro no kay bayot na kay chicken ba gyud pud ang ginakaon nato gyud permi. So di siya tinuod. Okay? So that's on organic foods. Next is street foods. Ang pinaka-concern nato sa street foods no kay kaning food safety. Okay? Labi na that these foods are produced by vendors nga usually walay permit, walay sanitary permit, 'di ba? Walay health permit, so wala tay assurance nga ang ilahang pag-prepare ani is sanitary ba kaha or kanang limpyo ba kaha ang ilahang paghimo ani. So yun tay assurance kay dili sila regulated, 'di ba? Dili sila gina-require sa government nga magkuhag sanitary permit. Okay? So ang concern gid nato is food safety. And daghan na kayo cases no nga nahilo tungod aning pagkaon sa street foods. So kung kakaon man galing ka ani then wala pa ka nahilo then you're lucky because siguro okay ra gyud ka imong immune system or na timingan rasad nga siguro di ra pud kaayo hugaw ang pag-prepare so wala ra kaayo na contaminate ang street foods. And another thing to consider is that usually manggod kaning mga street foods ato fried so ma-subject to intense heat so pwede nga on the process mamatay ra no ang mga pathogens tungod sa heating process. But yeah, nagya pun risk. So if if you eat street foods then eat that at your own risk. Okay? So murag ana lang. Okay? So although naagid pud mga street foods that are vended no by vendors nga limpyo pod. Okay? So as long as you know that your source is reputable, your source is clean enough, then go, pwede no. Pwede yun ka magkaon ana. But in the nutritional aspect, kanimang good sila kay taas pud sa saturated fat because number one, ang ilang ginagamit nga oil is saturated fat. Usually palm oil, no? So, yeah. And taas pud kayo sa cholesterol, labi na kaning mga organ meats, mga isaw, itlog sa kwek-kwek, di ba? Taas kayo nag cholesterol, okay? So, in the nutritional value pud, medyo di pud kaayo siya desirable because of that. Okay, taas ng mga mga fats, mga saturated fats, okay? And taas pud sa sodium, okay? So, yeah, if moderate ra imong consumption, if occasional ra ka, then pwede ra sad kaayo. Mao nang consume this moderately, no? Okay? So, next is emergency feeding. So, emergency feeding is like the trend, especially that the Philippines being situated in an area, in a geographical location where there are many hazards that can happen at any moment. Like we know that the Philippines is situated in the Pacific Ring of Fire, so we are like very prone to earthquakes, okay, and tsunamis, di ba? And we are also situated in the Pacific Ocean, so very prone to typhoons, okay? So yeah, so that's why in emergencies, okay, nutrition is very important. Okay? In order to help people survive, kinahanglan nga na ay pagkaon, na ay limpyo nga tubig. So that's what emergency feeding is all about. To provide nutrition during those times. So survival is the utmost concern when disaster strikes, and a major concern is to provide adequate potable water and food. So during emergencies guys na atay flow of prioritization. So like during the first hours of emergencies, water man yun ang pinaka-important. So, we need to secure like a supply of potable water to the victims. Okay? So, water yun ang priority nato, topmost priority nato. The next are carbohydrate foods. Okay? Because you know that carbohydrates are our quick source of energy. So, since usually kaning mga emergencies, they do not last for a very long time. So, ang important yun aside sa water food is foods that are rich in energy para naatay magamit no during these times. So, that's why next sa flow of prioritization are carbohydrate foods. Then, next na dayon kaning proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And this would become very important, no, especially during extended emergencies. Okay, but short-term emergencies, water and carbohydrate lang sa ang important kaayo. Okay? We also have these critical vitamins and minerals like B complex, vitamins A, C, and electrolytes. Okay? So that's why guys, no, we need to or kaning mga rations na to kanang usually they compose of kaning mga instant noodles, okay? Mga canned goods that are source of carbohydrates, di ba? Labi na kaning mga instant noodles nato. Okay. Although dili kayo sila healthy no in non-emergency situations, but during emergencies they become important because they are the cheapest source of carbohydrates and dali ra pud sila i-prepare. So they become very critical during these times. So, convenience, ready to eat, and canned goods are the most important food sources during emergencies, especially during short term emergencies. Okay? But in cases nga mo extend no ang emergency, like mag-extend siya for months, especially if grabe ang distraction sa disaster. As time goes by, naa naman na ma-install ng mga kitchens, mga central kitchens, sa mga evacuation centers. So, that's the time nga pwede na ta maggamit og other sources like mga fresh ingredients no to prepare like whole, complete and balanced meals. Pero kaning mga hours or a few days after emergency, so pwede ra gyud ng mga delata or kanang mga instant noodles na to just to provide carbohydrates para dili ra pod dili ra pod ta mag-suffer or wasting no during that time. Okay, so it's very important that in our house naatay inani nga mga supply. Okay? We never know when disasters strike. Diba? Wala ta kabalo. They are mostly unpredictable. So, if naatay nakastock ani sa atong mga balay, then ready ta. Diba? Like, then, kani sila nga mga foods kay dali ra gyud gamiton pod, dali ra pod i-prepare, and maka-help gyud sa atong survival. Okay? So, usually, mga processed foods, no? But again, dili raman na kaayo kanang ingon nato nga harmful kay anyways pang survival raman siya. Okay? Food rationing. Rations may be distributed either dry or cook. Kaning mga dry rations usually during short-term emergencies, then kaning mga cook rations mauna ning during extended emergency situations. So rations progress from distributing dry rations into cooked ones if enough facilities are installed in the evacuation center, especially if the emergency is extended. No? Nutritional adequacy of rations. Early emergency only water is topmost priority. Okay? Along with carbohydrates. Wala lang nabutang dere. Intermediate emergency is murag mga few weeks, mga several weeks, no? Vitamins and minerals may not be fully supplied, but carbohydrates and proteins must be adequate. And during extended emergency, all nutrients from the rations must supply the full needs of the victims. Okay? These are like sample menus no, for various adverse situations. Like if there is no fuel or no water, then we can actually have like this menu, no? Okay? Para lang makasurvive ta. If fuel available but no water, then pwede ni. If water available or no fuel, kani. And if both water and fuel are and available, especially during extended emergencies, nga naa na mga rescues, no? Then, pwede gyud ta maka-prepare og much more complete meals no like this one. Okay? What about sports nutrition? So, sports nutrition is an emerging subfield of nutrition dietetics, especially last year ba to that Hidilyn Diaz um, got like the first Olympic gold medal no for the Philippines. And a very important part of her success is the participation of her nutritionist dietitian. Okay, gi-share gyud na niya sa mga news outlets that she wouldn't have attained that gold medal if it wasn't for the efforts of her nutritionist dietitian. Okay, very important kayong nutrition guys, especially sa iya no nga weightlifter siya nga kinahanglan og energy, ang grabe nga energy no ang iyahang event and preparation pa lamang, di ba? Pag-build og muscles, hydration, so kinahanglan gyud og input from a dietitian. Okay? And I know many of you know are also interested with this, okay? And aside from that no, mahal pud ang pay ani sa mga dietitians nato. Okay? So madato gid mo ani kung diri ko mahimo mong sports nutritionist puhon, okay? So sports nutrition involves provision and modification of diet to cater the extra needs of athletes. So proteins, carbohydrates, fluids, electrolytes, and minerals such as iron are the priority nutrients. Okay. Um, Part of sports nutrition is we recognize the importance of carbohydrates as a quick source of energy, and very important nga dili kulang ang carbohydrates sa mga athletes kay mao man ning main source of energy nato no, so dapat dili gid magkulang ang carbohydrates sa diet sa athletes. Okay? Important pud kayo ang protein para for muscle protein synthesis, kay kaning protein nato maka-help sa atong muscles na to become stronger, and this is particularly needed by many elite athletes. Okay? We also have kaning role sa fats nato as an alternative source of energy because during sports events, mga good guys, very important that glycogen stores are not depleted, especially during the event. So, para ma-prevent ang glycogen levels from being exhausted, kinahanglan nga kinahanglan that the body is efficient no to utilize fats as an alternative source of energy so that dili ma-deplete ang glycogen. Okay? So important pud kaayo ang fat deposits nato no para ma-mobilize siya as an alternative source of energy. Okay? So I have here like mga articles no, mga positions actually, mga consensus sa journal as a International Society of Sports Nutrition. Okay? So let's start with their position stand on nutrient timing. Okay? So mag-base gid ta sa articles guys, published articles because nutrition must be evidence-based. So that's why whenever we try to recommend something to our patients, to our clients, make sure that it is evidence-based. Make sure that you have a journal article to back up on that particular recommendation. Okay, so that's why we're using this published articles, no, by the uh, International Society of Sports Nutrition. So, mao ni ang ilahang position on nutrient timing. So, nutrient timing incorporates the use of methodical planning and eating of whole foods, fortified foods, and dietary supplements. The timing of energy intake and the ratio of certain ingested macronutrients may enhance recovery and tissue repair, augment muscle protein synthesis, and improve mood states following high volume or intense exercise. You have learned, no, from our discussion on proteins that if you pair up physical activity or exercise with protein ingestion, that would actually help, no, the body, no, to synthesize muscle proteins. Okay? Katong video nga akong gipakita sa from TED or from TED Talk, di ba? Uh, so endogenous glycogen stores are maximized by following a high carbohydrate diet. 8-12 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram per day. Okay. Moreover, these stores are depleted most by high volume exercise. Okay. So um I told you that glycogen stores have become very important in sports nutrition in athletes. Very important that dako ang glycogen storage sa athletes. Okay, very important that during their athletic events dili siya depleted. So that's why many athletes do prepare for their event, no, by exercising a lot para ma-deplete ang ilahang glycogen, and they immediately follow that with ingestion of high carbohydrate diet, and that would help replenish the depleted stores, and that would actually increase the storage limitation. Okay, so i-repeat lang na nila, and that would actually result to a storage, no, that uh, nga mas dako. Okay, nga mas dako ang capacity to store this glycogen. Okay, ang tawag ana is glycogen supercompensation. Okay, so exercise, then kaon dayon og carbohydrate rich food, carbohydrate rich diet, then exercise na sad, then followed na sad by ingestion of high carbohydrate diet. So through that, ma-maximize ang glycogen storage, mutaas ang capacity sa glycogen storage, and that is very beneficial, no, for our athletes, because kaning glycogen man gud mao ni ang ilahang quick source of energy during the events, and if ma-deplete na during the event, pwede nila ma-hit ang wall, and pwede nga dili nila ma-accomplish ang ilahang athletic event. So yeah. Okay, so that is attained by consuming like around 8 to 12 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram per day. Okay? If rapid restoration of glycogen is required, then the following strategies should be considered. Okay? So, pwede ni. Okay? The addition of caffeine. Caffeine is actually an important enhancer, no, among athletes. Okay? Because caffeine helps in mobilization of fatty acids and conserving glycogen storage. So, yeah. Okay? Um, Usually kaning nga mga statements, no, is all about consuming carbohydrates, pila ang dose, pila ka grams per hour, then kano sa siya i-take, di ba? So this would provide like guidelines, no, for the dietitian on how to administer or on when to administer carbohydrates. Kung before ba or after ba sa ilahang sports event. Okay, so naala diri. Okay, I won't be discussing these statements very deeply kay anyways matakal man ni sa inyong nutritional biochemistry, kay sports nutrition is a separate chapter, no, in nutritional biochemistry. So introduction pa man ni siya. So I'm just showing you this article no kay mao man ni ang basis nato sa pag-discuss sa sports nutrition pohon. Okay? Aside from carbohydrates, timing sa pag-ingest sa carbohydrates, naapod statements for proteins. Okay? Like for example, in this statement, meeting the total daily intake of protein, preferably with evenly spaced protein feedings, approximately every 3 hours during the day, should be viewed as a primary area of emphasis for exercising individuals. So, naaga ni ang timing din no kung kanus dapat i-take ang proteins. Kani ingon niya is every 3 hours during the day. Okay? So, ang total daily intake of protein i-divide sa 24 divided by 3 pila. So, that's the number of times nga i-take nimo ang protein then tungaon na nimo. Okay? Para evenly spaced ang pag-administer sa protein. Okay? Naapod tay ingestion of essential amino acids either in free form or as part of a protein bolus of approximately 20 to 40 grams has been shown to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis or MPS. Okay? Yeah, naapod ka ng statements on how to combine carbohydrates and proteins para mas optimal ang effect. Okay? Ingesting a 20 to 40 gram protein dose or 0.25 to 0.40 grams per kilogram of body mass per dose of a high quality source every 3 to 4 hours appears to most favorably affect MPS rates when compared to other dietary patterns and is associated with improved body composition and performance outcomes. So, um, for example, mag-take ka, pila man ang kuan, pila man ka 3 hours ang, ah, sani? Ang 24 hours. 24 divided by 3, 8. So, kumbaga, 8 times ka mag-take aning 20 to 40 grams nga protein dose, depende po sa imong total nga protein, i-divide mo na siya sa 8, and maunang timing sa pag-consume og protein. And through that, mas optimal ang iyang effects sa muscle protein synthesis, and that is actually linked with higher athletic performance. So di ba naa na kay guide unsaon nimo pag-administer og protein sa imong athlete para mas optimal ang athletic performance. Consuming casein protein prior to sleep can acutely increase MPS and metabolic rate throughout the night without influencing lipolysis or fat breakdown. So, casein, aha man ni makuha sa dairy, di ba? So, specifically dairy protein can have this beneficial effect. Okay? So, I won't be, discussing all of this, okay? Kay nakasummarize naman siya ato. But definitely, if naanatay subject sa sports nutrition, ato yun siya isa-isahon. Okay? Next is naay ka ng specific nga position stand for proteins and exercise. So, kani. Okay? Ang I told you last time no nga ang maximum actually is nga protein intake sa mga athletes, especially kani mga heavyweight lifters na to 2.6 grams of protein per kilogram per body weight per day. Okay? Pero ang ingon sa International Society of Sports Nutrition mao ni ang optimal no 1.4 to 2.0 grams. Okay? Higher protein intakes at 3 grams per kilogram per day um, can only be applied no to those athletes that are in resistance no nga type of sports like kani mga weightlifting. Okay? So pwede na siya sa kani nga mga individuals. But katong mga dili resistance nga mga sports then maura ni. Okay? Dili ra pud pa sobra kay para wala ra pud siya dili maayong effects. Then there is a particular amino acid, guys, that um, is very important, very crucial in muscle protein synthesis, and that's leucine. Okay, acute protein doses should strive to contain 700 to 3,000 milligrams of leucine, in addition to a balanced array of essential amino acids. Okay, because leucine is a very important uh, amino acid for muscle protein synthesis. Okay, uh, these protein doses should ideally be evenly distributed every 3 to 4 hours across the day, as what we have learned from katong isa nga article. Okay, the optimal time period during which to ingest protein is likely a matter of individual tolerance, since benefits are derived from pre or post workout ingestion. However, the anabolic effect of exercise is long lasting but likely diminishes with increasing time post exercise. Okay, so yeah. So, I will leave the rest no, for your own reading para dili ta madugay. Okay? So, maura ni inyong basahon, no? Okay? Okay. We also have for caffeine. So, caffeine has ergogenic effect. Ergogenic means performance enhancer. Okay? So, caffeine is not a banned substance, no, in Olympics unless very excessive ang levels. Okay? Wait lang, guys. Okay. So, it has been shown that caffeine can enhance vigilance during bouts of extended excessive exercise as well as periods of sustained sleep deprivation. Okay. So, in moderate amounts of caffeine, no, caffeine can actually enhance athletic performance. Okay, through what mechanisms? It uh, mobilizes fatty acids as an alternative source of energy, thereby conserving glycogen. Okay, so para dili ma-deplete atong glycogen, iyang gina-mobilize ang free fatty acids for energy. Okay, and it also has like um, stimulating effect no on glycogenesis. Glycogenesis is formation of glycogen in the body. So it increases glycogen production in the body. Okay? So just read this position statement no. Okay? Um I think self understandable naman ni sila no. Okay? Basta mao na ang main kibali nga effect sa caffeine no. Okay? So that's all about sports nutrition. So kuan lang siya. Introductory pa lang siya, no? Okay? Basta mauna siya ang kibali, ang overview sa discussion sa sports nutrition. Okay? So as the dietitian, dapat kabalo ka unsaon pag-timing sa ingestion sa mga nutrients. Okay? Because timing has an important effect no on the athletic performance of the athletes. Okay? And very important puding fluids no for hydration. You don't want your athlete to become dehydrated no, okay, kay maka maka reduce yun na siya sa athletic performance. Okay, next is food and drug interactions. So uh these are examples of drugs that have some harmful interactions with foods, so that's why they are um we must know this, okay? Like for example, kani amphetamine and MAO inhibitors, they do not beat they must not be taken with tyramine-rich foods para wala siya adverse effects sa patients. We also have antibiotics, especially mga tetracycline drugs. They must not be consumed with milk because milk can decrease their therapeutic effect. Okay? Anticoagulants should not be taken with vitamin K and onion kay mo decrease pud ang effect ni anticoagulants. Isoniazid is an anti-TB drug and it depletes the body of vitamin B6. So, you might need to supplement the TB patient with vitamin B6 kay kaning isoniazid nga ginagamit kay gina-deplete niya ang vitamin B6 sa body. And we also have methotrexate and oral contraceptives which also antagonize folic acid in the body. So, bantayanan yun ning mga patients nga ga-take ani because they might be at risk of folic acid deficiency. Okay? So these are just examples of food and drug interactions that are discussed no in the nutrition therapy. So that's an advanced subject, third year pa na siya, pero I am just showing you no, an overview of that particular topic. Next are nutrigenomics and nutrigenetics. Okay? Which are generally called as nutritional genomics. So, mauna ang general term yan, nutritional genomics. So, these are like one of the newest or two of the newest sciences in the field of nutrition dietetics uh, because kanisha no these particular topics cover no the effect of the diet on the genes and the effect of genes on the diet. Okay? So, mauna actually ang difference sa duha. Nutrigenomics is the effect of foods to one's genetic makeup and nutrigenetics is vice versa. The effect of one's genetic makeup to his or her diet. Okay? So, personalized nutrition means our nutrition recommendations are tailored with the individual because every individual is unique uh, on their genetic makeup. So therefore, the nutritional recommendations might differ from one person to another. Okay, so basically, what we recommend to our patients are specific to their genetic makeup. So therefore, mas effective ang nutritional intervention since tailored yun siya specifically to the patient based on the patient's genetic makeup. So maybe in the future, genetic tests are a part of the routine tests, and dietitians in the future should be able to read the results of the genetic test and use that interpretation to decide which diet plan is best for the patient based on the results of the genetic makeup, the results of the genetic testing. Okay? So, pwede na siya nga inan ang mahitabo sa sunod, no? Okay? And I don't know if you were able to attend our seminar, no, on that. Actually, nag-seminar ta ani regarding aning nutritional genomics, no? And naatay actually speaker ani from the FNRI Gyud. Okay? Um, I hope naka tanaw mo ato, but if wala na ami recording and maybe kung naamoy time pwede ninyo tumatanaw. Okay? And ako ang isa sa mga speakers at aside from katong sa FNRI, so mao ni kibali ang PowerPoint nga ako ang gamit. Okay? So ako ra ni i-discuss kaning 5 basic tenets no sa nutritional genomics. Common dietary chemicals act on the human genome either directly or indirectly to alter gene expression or structure. So kaning mga uh, biochemicals no nga naa sa atong foods, apil na ang mga nutrients ug kanang mga dili nutrients, they actually can alter our genes. Okay? Um, it may be structural or genetic expression. Like for example, naatay mga free radicals no nga gikan sa atong diet that can directly damage our DNA and cause harm to us. Naapod tay mga antioxidants which help our DNA no fight off those free radicals, thereby dili ra ma-harm atong DNA. So naapod inana nga mechanism. Under certain circumstances and in some individuals, diet can be a serious risk factor for a number of diseases. Okay? Some diet-regulated genes are likely to play a role in the onset, incidence, progression, and or severity of chronic diseases. Okay? The degree to which diet influences the balance between healthy and disease states may depend on an individual genetic background. So dietary intervention based on knowledge of individual nutritional requirement, nutritional status, and genotype can be used to prevent, relieve, or cure chronic disease. Okay? I will give you a specific example, no? Um, na ay mga individuals no that are considered as slow metabolizers of caffeine because there is something in their genes that slow that makes them like very slow no in metabolizing caffeine. Naapod uban nga individuals that are considered fast metabolizers of caffeine. That means dali ra sila makametabolize sa caffeine. Okay, dali ra nila ma-breakdown, dali ra nila ma-process tungod na sa certain nga gene sa ilahang genetic makeup, no. Now, studies have shown that kaning mga fast metabolizers of caffeine nato, caffeine consumption is actually good for them. Is actually like better for them, no, because tungod kay fast sila nga metabolizer sa caffeine, then okay sa ila ang coffee. Okay? Coffee has like cardioprotective effects sa ilaha. Okay? Like good for the heart ang coffee sa ila. But for those who are slow metabolizers because na ay something sa ilahang genes that make them slow metabolizers of caffeine, dili kaayo pwede ang coffee sa ilaha, especially sa those that is good for the fast metabolizers because since they are considered slow metabolizers, so dili kaayo nila ma-process ang caffeine, and caffeine may do more harm than good in them, in slow metabolizers, among slow metabolizers. So therefore, based on that genetic makeup, if kabaluta nga ang kaninga patient kay slow metabolizer tungod kay nahibaw-an nato sa genetic testing nga ay slow metabolizer siya sa caffeine. So dili ta mo recommend og coffee because we know from studies nga dili sila ka-tolerate ana. Okay? So that is one of the examples of kaning personalized nutrition or individualized nutrition. So based from the results of the genetic testing, makabalot ta unsay best nga diet advice nga atong ihatag sa patient. Okay? So, dagan pa kayo examples guys, and kaning nutritional genomics ato ara ni siya explain further um, when we reach nutritional biochemistry kay separate po ni siya nga chapter ana nga subject. Okay? But pwede na ako ni siya ihatag sa inyong adaan. No? Okay, i-attach lang na ako siya sa Google Classroom, but dili necessary nga studyhan tanan. Kanilang basic, kaning 5 basic tenets lang. Okay? Next are, okay, next are IF and keto. Um, na ako'y mga articles anin diri no. Ko na lang ni X. Na ay mga articles diri, mga meta-analysis, okay, that would show no unsay consensus sa mga research articles unsay majority nga finding nila regarding IF or intermittent fasting. Okay? So, nindot guys no nga atong tan-awon para for example gusto nato ma-confirm no whether evidence-based ang atong recommendation, magtan-aw ta sa mga results sa meta-analysis. Kay kaning meta-analysis or systematic reviews kani mang good kay gisynthesize na ang mga articles that tackled that particular topic and na-summarize na siya, so makabaluta kung unsay general nga finding sa based sa several nga mga articles that tackle that particular topic. Okay? So parehas aning, okay, let's start with this one. The effectiveness of intermittent fasting to reduce BMI and glucose metabolism. Okay? So you can read all of the totality of the article, no, but since wa naman ta kaayo time, so diri lang sa ta sa abstract. Okay? An IFD or intermittent fasting diet may provide a significant metabolic benefit by improving glycemic control, insulin resistance, and adipokine concentration with a reduction of BMI in adults. So meaning, ang general nga finding sa kani nga analysis nga meta-analysis is that IF is beneficial. Okay? So, how do we do IF? Mauning ingon nila nga 16 hours nga dili magkaon, then naay 8 hours nga mauna ang window nga magkaon. Okay? Maunang time nga magkaon ka. So, that's per day. So, siguro dili ka magkaon no within 8 within 16 hours. So, pwede na siya magsugod. Sige, para mas dali magata ko example, magkaon ka from 7 to 1. Sige, i-count na to 8 hours ang feeding period. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Ay, kuan di ay. 7 to 3. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So, within 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., diha ra nimo kaunon ang tanan nimo nga calories. Okay? Kibali, within that time period, diha ka mag-consume sa tanan nimo nga foods for that day. Then, beyond 3 p.m., until the next day nga 7 a.m., di dapat ka magkaon. Okay, mauna kumbaga imong fasting. Okay? So that's an example of intermittent fasting. Ang tawag ana is 16-8 method. Naapod other type of IF regimen no nga dili hours ang ginatan-aw but days. So ang tawag ani nga regimen is 5-2 method. 5 days nga dili ka mag-fast, nga regular lang imong kaon. So imo ang i-follow imong TER. Pero sa 2 days nga non-consecutive, that means dili magsunod dapat, diha ka mag-fast. Diha nimo i-reduce ang imong calorie intake. And that doesn't mean nga wa gyud kay kaunon ana nga day sa imong fasting days. Sa lalaki, ang maximum sa imong fasting day is 600 calories. Then sa babae, 500 calories. So, during that fasting days, dapat dili mo lapas sa 500 calories for females and 600 calories for males. So, for example, ako between the two, nag-try ko aning 5-2 no. So, um, ang ako ang gipili nga fasting days kay Thursday and Friday. So dapat dili siya magsunod, non-consecutive siya. So during Thursdays and Fridays, 600 calories ra gyud ang maximum na ako nga kaunon. In some Thursdays and Fridays dili gani mo abot og 600. Pero sa other days kaning mga non-fasting days na ako regular lang akong kaon. Okay? So, in that way, ma-restrict nimo ang imuhang body sa calories. Okay? So, actually, from this meta-analysis, okay di ay ang finding about intermittent fasting. Di ba? So, yeah, pila ka hapon nga articles ang gi-base ani. Daghan, daghan, oh. Then kani sila kay mga high quality research, no? Okay? So, most of this kay beneficial ang effect sa IF. Okay? Sige, let's look at another meta-analysis. Effects of intermittent fasting and energy-restricted diets on lipid profile. So, kani sa blood glucose ug sa BMI. Like, makontrol daw ang blood glucose and mugamay ang BMI. But what about sa lipid profile? Unsay effect ni intermittent fasting? Highlights. Besides Ramadan, IF, kaning Ramadan, maumangod ni ang fasting sa mga Muslim, no? Specific IF strategies may be adapted into clinical scenarios like katong ako ang giset ng examples, no? Katong 16, 8, and 5-2 methods. IF and ERD are effective in improving circulating total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and triglyceride levels. However, IF and ERD have no meaningful effects on HDL cholesterols. So, therefore, nindot siya, beneficial siya no sa in lowering the levels of cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. Pero wala siya effect sa HDL. But at least, di ba, in this part of the lipid profile, iyahang i-improve. So, therefore, beneficial po siya sa lipid profile. Okay? So, sa kaning article, pro gyapon siya sa IF. Next is this one, intermittent fasting, interventions for the treatment of overweight and obesity in adults age 18 years and over. Unsa nga to ang results ay atong conclusion. Intermittent energy restriction may be an effective strategy for the treatment of overweight and obesity. So, intermittent energy restriction was comparable to continuous energy restriction for short-term weight loss in overweight and obese adults. So, another meta-analysis concluded that IF is good, is an effective strategy for the treatment of overweight and obesity. Diba? So, kani nga mga article, kani nga mga meta-analysis nga, recent, very recent, said that IF is beneficial. So, yeah. Okay? So, I'm just, presenting the results of the research. Then, maubay natong tuuhan kay scientific pa diri, no? So, I don't know unsa inyong mga nadunggan about IF, kung nindot ba inyong impression ana or dili, but according sa research mo ni, effective siya. Okay? Sige, tan-awon nato ang keto. So, unsa ning keto diet? Keto diet is a diet composed of majority no fats, gamay lang kayo ang carbohydrates. Then, ang carbohydrates niya is more on fiber. Then, ang young fats is more on unsaturated fats. So, maingon na to nga healthy siya kay um, wala man ta kayo gagamit og saturated fats. O ang ato ang carbohydrates kay fiber man. Okay? Sige. Of course, atong tanawon is meta-analysis or systematic review. So, let's look at this one. Efficacy and safety of very low calorie ketogenic diet. Unsay mechanism aning ketogenic diet sa atong body nganong mag-lose ta og weight? I think na-explain na nako ni siya but akong i-re-explain otro. Since ang diet nga ketogenic wala kay siya carbohydrates, so ma-force sa atong lawas to use our body fats instead. Okay? In providing us with energy since wala namang good carbohydrates kaayo sa tong diet, so mapugos sa to ang lawas to utilize fat instead in the body, leading to weight loss. Okay? Although sa uh, nutritional biochemistry pa nato ma-thoroughly discuss ang biochemical pathways involving ketosis, no? But mo na yung general effect. Okay. Unsa ang conclusion ay the overall prevalence of patients the present review supports the use of very low calorie ketogenic diet as an effective strategy for the management of overweight and obesity. Future guidelines should include a specific recommendation for this intervention. Aside from a diet that is majority fat, very low calorie po siya. That means calorie restricted po siya. Okay? So, aside niya, high siya in fat, low po siya in calories. Okay? So, effective daw siya in the management of overweight and obesity. So, another article that, that supports the use of ketogenic diet. What about this one? Kani kay RCT gid ang gigamit, no, nga article. RCT is a kind of research that provides the highest level of evidence. So kani mo tuo na gyud ta ani kung unsay effect, kung unsay findings sa RCT, most likely effective gyud siya. Okay? Kay type gyud siya sa research that provides the highest level of evidence. Okay? Unsa iyahang effect? This effect kani. Our study findings confirmed that ketogenic diets were more effective in improving metabolic parameters associated with glycemic, weight, and lipid controls in patients with overweight or obesity, especially those with pre-existing diabetes as compared to low-fat diets. So, another meta-analysis supported the use of keto diet in improving blood glucose levels, body weight, and lipid profile. Okay? So nindot di ay siya, di ba? Contrary to what you might have heard about keto nga, dili siya nindot, but yeah, dagan kaning article no gaingon gyud siya nga nindot siya. Another one, individuals assigned to very low carbohydrate ketogenic diets achieve a greater weight loss than those assigned to low fat diet in the long term. Hence, EVLCKD may be an alternative tool against obesity. Okay, so ingon ingon diri mas nindot daw kuno ang ketogenic diet than low fat diet, 'di ba? In treating obesity or in achieving weight loss. So kani British Journal of Nutrition na gyud ni ingon, okay? Then RCT gyapon ang gi-base. So, yeah, daghan na kaayog articles no gaingon nga nindot ang keto. Okay? So therefore, can we consider IF and keto as fad diet? No, they should not be considered as fad diet because unsay definitions of fad diet? Fad diet is a kind of diet no, that promises like faster weight loss without scientific evidence. Okay? And sometimes makalid sila to nutrient deficiencies. When in fact, kaning IF and keto, when properly planned, when followed properly with the help of nutritionist dietitian, okay siya. Okay siya nga diet. Okay? So, mao ni atong stand dapat ha. Pwede ta mag-IF, pwede ta mag-keto as long as supervised by a registered nutritionist dietitian. Keto and IF may become potentially bad if unsupervised, if walay help ni dietitian. Okay? So, kanang mga social media influencers usually gud sayop gud ang ilahang keto, no, kay ilahang keto taas kaayo sa pork fat, nya taas kaayo sa saturated fat. So dili na siya pwede nga inana nga keto. Okay? Actually keto can be healthier if planned properly. Okay? So dapat ang keto diet high in fiber, high in unsaturated fats. Kana dapat. And mao na atong ingon sa atong mga clients, dili dapat sila mag follow aning mga diet without supervision without the supervision of a doctor or a registered nutritionist dietitian. Okay? So, yeah. You can definitely read these articles. I'll upload this sa inyong Google Classroom so that kung naamoy time, pwede mo makabasa-basa ani for more details, no? But definitely sa atong nutritional biochemistry na atay in-depth discussion ani. Okay? Last nga topic no under chapter 10 is all about space nutrition. Space is the last frontier of humankind. Okay? That means mao na tong last kumbaga nga destination no kumbaga at least in science because ang trend naman karon no is space exploration because as technology becomes more advanced we are becoming uh more what's this more hungry for uh what lies beyond our solar system, di ba? Many astronomers are very eager to find no the answer for the question, are we alone, di ba? And especially karon nga naanatay telescope no nga mas more advanced than expected nga in the coming years. It is anticipated nga makakita na yun tag first evidence for extraterrestrial life. Okay? Kay mas advanced naman ang ato ang mga telescopes. And actually, dili gyud na um sani dili gyud na siya mawala sa discussion ang possibility of space exploration. And you know that space is very very wide. Space exploration pa lang for example from Earth to Mars, it would take many years para makaabot ka sa Mars from Earth. And very important ang nutrition ana during space flight, okay? And one of the unique characteristics of when you are in space is the weightlessness or the microgravity. Okay, wala may gravity sa space, no? So naay mga effects ana sa tong bones, especially sa tong bones because many scientists or kaning mga astronauts na to who were in space, who were in microgravity, who were in weightlessness for a very long time. Pagbalik nila sa Earth, ang ilang bones kay very porous na. Some of them have developed osteoporosis because mao nang effect sa microgravity, mao nang effect sa walay gravity no sa bones. So nutritionists in the NASA mao na ilang ginastudihan karon no unsaon paghatag sa diet nga maka-optimize sa bone health sa mga astronauts and sa mga sa future nga mo undergo space exploration in order to minimize the effect of this microgravity, di ba? Another concern is kaning radiation. Okay? Space is exposed to a lot of radiation, gamma rays, X-rays, and humans are very, very vulnerable to radiation. Okay? Pwede ta maka-develop of cancer tungod aning mga radiation nga maka-cause of free radicals. Okay? So, one of the ways to develop like resistance against these free radicals is through diet. Okay, through diet, maka-incorporate tag mga antioxidants that, help fight off those free radicals. Okay, so that's another like part of space nutrition that is being explored, no, on how to, to develop meals that are very rich in antioxidants. Part also of space nutrition is to develop foods that are suitable in space, no, like unsay mga technologies nga pwede na to ma-employ para dili kayo madaot ang pagkaon. Okay? So that's another part no of space nutrition. So naay book about ana no that is developed by the Nutritional Biochemistry Laboratory of NASA. Okay? So this is especially for high school students. So that's why dali ra gyud kayo siya sabton nga book. Okay? So yeah. Okay? When flying in space, the human body feels that it is an environment very different from the ground. You spend your whole life on the ground with gravity. And in space, all of a sudden that changes. Okay? So, wala ba yung gravity sa kuan no sa space no. So, naagyo na yung mga effects atong lawas nga dili maayo. So, very important that the body should be able to adapt with that kind of environment, and nutrition is very important for that. Okay? Understanding and preventing the negative changes that occur during space flight is an important job. Researchers at the Nutritional Biochemistry Laboratory at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, spend a lot of time on this because good nutrition may be one way to help keep astronauts healthy during space flight. Okay? Okay, so kani history raman ni siya. Space food. Okay, usually ang food sa space no dehydrated, thermostabilized para mas dili siya dali madaot. Okay? There are special rules for creating new space foods. Minimize ang crumbs kay lisod pud baya didto no kay walay gravity. So dapat walay crumbs or else pwede na ma-stuck sa mga areas that could damage the space, that could damage the shuttle. Okay? Minimize packaging and trash volume and minimize the weight of the food. Okay? And usually manggod i-process ang food so pwede mawala ang nutrients. And that's the challenge. Unsaon na to paghimo og mga foods without, without the nutrient loss. Okay? Through a quick search in YouTube, no, makakita ta sa mga kanang foods yun nga gina-serve sa mga astronauts, no. Naana siya sa YouTube, no. Okay. Okay. So, kani about sa vitamin D, no, because vitamin D is very important in bones, no. So to evaluate a person's health with respect to specific nutrient, doctors or scientists will often collect blood or urine samples. To evaluate a person's vitamin D status, we collect blood. So we observe lower concentration of certain vitamins, including vitamin D, in blood samples collected from astronauts after space flight than in blood samples collected from the same astronauts before flight. So naay something in space, no, that decreases the vitamin D levels of uh, astronauts. So vitamin D is a nutrient. So that's the challenge now. Unsaon na to pag produce og meals that are very high in vitamin D to prevent these astronauts from becoming vitamin D deficient in space. Okay? And mauni siya siguro pud ang reason nganong mahimong porous ang bones, magka-osteoporosis ang mga astronauts, no? Yeah, so we wouldn't have known about this if it wasn't for nutritional biochemistry, di ba? So that's why karon mao nang ginastadihan sa mga scientists sa mga nutritionists dito sa NASA on how to to deal with this problem. Okay? Aside from that, naapod tay mga okay. Napud tayo, of course, nutritional assessment. So through biochemical assessment, no, usually gasend og urine o blood samples ang astronauts. Ginasend nila ang samples from the International Space Station to the Nutritional Biochemistry Lab back on Earth, and katong mga nutritionist didto gina-analyze nila, and they monitor changes in the levels of the nutrients in the blood and urine so that makabalo sila unsay mga nutrients nga ka-deplete, and of course para makadiagnose sila unsay problem, and deal with those problems. Okay, so yeah, basahan nimo diri ang relationship between nutrition and bone. Okay, maunang problem gyud. We also have here okay, meeting the macronutrients. Okay, vitamin D. Okay, vitamin K. Okay, katong mga na-discuss na to sa vitamin K, no, naagyo diri. Okay, ah okay, calcium and bones mo nitong akong ingon ganina nga main problem sa space. Iron pod. Okay, antioxidants. Okay, morning effects sa radiation sa space, no. So very important nga okay ang antioxidants sa diet sa atong mga astronauts. Okay, so this is like the logo of the Nutritional Biochemistry Lab in NASA. Okay, and okay, within that lab, no, na exercise lab, cardiovascular lab, neurosciences lab. Okay. Yeah, okay. So basically, space nutrition, like nutritional genomics, is also a very young field of science, and they are expected to grow, no, uh, in more years to come. Okay, so I personally find space nutrition appealing, and um, I'm really planning, no, to take, no, if na ay mga masteral or mga PhD regarding space nutrition. I really would like to to venture into this field. Okay, um, because it's new. Okay, and gamay ra sad ang ga-study ani sa Philippines, and in the next years to come mao na ni siya ang kumbaga mo ni siya ang growing na nga field of science, no? So yeah, even in this modern like field of sciences, no, nutrition is still relevant. Okay, so I'm just pointing out that even in these fields of sciences, no, pwede yun na to incorporate ang nutrition. Okay, so I will also upload this to your Google Classroom. Although katong mga akong gipang discuss, maura gyud ta ang mugawas sa exam, no. Okay, so you don't need to actually read the whole thing. Labi na nga wala na kayo tay time. Okay, but I guess that's all. That's the end of our discussion for chapter 10. And if you have questions, guys, you can just PM me. Anyways, ugma pa man ang ato ang exam ani sa hapon. And yeah, I hope you have learned a lot from this subject, and I hope to see you soon, no. Labi na ka next sem, no, for our next subject. So that's all, guys. Thank you, and good luck sa inyong exam.